Our next storyteller, Grandma says love trumps hate, especially the hate of your loved one's political views. Please welcome Tina Martin with her story, Love Trumps Tweets.
Hi, and I hope you like my apron. I'm wearing it to represent my demographic, old. I am now the grandma of my former self. And I spend a lot of time in the kitchen, which they brought in for me tonight. Isn't that nice? Kitchen. And I know that tonight's theme is, as you've heard, love trumps hate. But since I'm grandma, you know, in the kitchen baking cookies, I even have a little bit of batter splattered on it. I want to say, too, that love trumps age. And when I was about 50 years old, I wrote a poem about this because 20 years ago I thought, at this advanced age, romance is still in my life. It seemed amazing to me. So I wrote a poem that went 5 lines, first 5 lines. The heart, unlike hair, doesn't have to turn grayish or stop turning Edna St. Vincent Millaish. Love's for all time and with infinite merit. It would take higher math or Elizabeth Barrett to count all the time. Oops. It would take higher math or Elizabeth Barrett to count all the ways love counts in our days. And I'm still counting, even if I'm not remembering. I'm still counting. At 71, I have a MECE in my life. MECE is an acronym I created meaning Mejor que un esposo, better than a husband, in Spanish, because my MECE is from Costa Rica, and that's where he is tonight. He's selling his ancestral home, and yesterday for Valentine's Day, this was the first time in 14 years that we were not together. But that's okay because we celebrate Valentine's Day several times a month, every month. And speaking of months, remember November? My MECE is, and I hope there aren't any children in the room, a Republican. And people ask, how can you get along when you have such different political views? And I say, oh, just scream at each other. And we do, but we scream in Spanish, which is very good for my language development. He speaks very good English because he's lived 50 of his 80 years in the United States, so his English is excellent. But I could work on my Spanish, and I am working on my Spanish, even screaming it almost fluently now. But on November 8th, 2016, we were not screaming at each other because my MECE was not for Trump. He had risen above his political party. So we were screaming, but we were only screaming about the results. And so all afternoon and all evening we were screaming, and the counts came in. And then the next day, I got a lot of messages from around the world, friends, different places, different countries. Maybe the most alarmed they had been since September 11th, 2001, as if the election had been a terrorist attack, as if hate had been elected. But love trumps hate. And I got a very loving letter from my son. You have to understand that I'm the mother who writes, the grandmother, who writes long, long letters, e-letters, but they're the kind that you would normally have folded up and stamped and put in an envelope and stamped and sent away. But this time, and he responds later, maybe 6 or 7 days later, and with a couple of lines. But this time he wrote first, and he wrote from Austin, Texas, where something was going to be developing later, an alternative fact. And he said, "Dear Mom, after this election, I feel afraid for the future, but I'm glad that we have each other in our lives and the other people that we love. And I love you, and that seems very important right now. Love, Jonathan." So my MECE, other family friends and members and friends decided this was what we needed to hear and what the message we needed to send out. Love trumps hate. And later, he sent me a picture of a protest in Austin. And that protest segued into a story that grandmother will tell, you know, with a moral, and you can figure out what the moral is. Once upon a time, in a not very far away land, a little red bird tweeted an alternative fact. He had seen a line of coaches, and he had heard that there were protesters in the area, and so he concluded that those protesters had been coached in to pretend they were against the dear leader of the land. So he tweeted this, and pretty soon 360,000 other tweets came in. And then it even reached the dear leader of the land, who said, "Unfair. Professional paid protesters are incited by the media are there in Austin." Now, grandmother would wonder why paid protesters would have to be incited, but that's getting a little bit away from the story. So going back, we'll say that a little red fox, not always known for his fairness, decided that he would investigate. Was there really a connection between these coaches and the protesters? So he did investigate. He actually asked the people who were running the coaches, and they said no connection. So after he had the correct information, other people tweeted the truth, but it never quite made the same impression as those original alternative facts. So the story may not end happily right now, but there is a positive spin to this, that the dear leader of the land tweeted again, and he used the word love, and he used the word fact, not alternative fact, but fact. And he said, "Love the fact that the small group of protesters last night feel passionate about this country. We will come together and be proud." And we did come together, didn't we, with the Women's March? We had a huge, passionate, peaceful demonstration that love can trump hate. So now, before I go back to the kitchen or take somebody's muni seat afterwards, I just want to say, again, the heart that, unlike hair, doesn't have to turn grayish or stop turning Edna St. Vincent Millay. Love's for all time, and with infinite merit, it would take higher math or Elizabeth Barrett to count all the ways love counts in our days. Now that I'm grandma of me and my youth, taking your muni seat, I'll tell this truth. There's nothing can love ever replace. Not even for girls with a grandmother face. But let's go beyond love that's merely romantic and think of the love obstacle causing panic. Someone's elected with slogans that tweet, "Make America hate again's not all that sweet." Is love trumps hate an alternative fact, or is it a truth on which we can all act? Good night, I'll see you in the Muni.